Alright, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about the Xmaxx ready to run and then the new Xmaxx Ultimate and converting your Xmaxx into the Ultimate. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I watched a lot of videos on this and I hear a lot of people talking about Traxxas has just taken all their stuff, all their optional parts, and throwing it on the Xmaxx trying to do a money grab. And I just, at this point, don't feel that way. But I'm going to explain myself and explain why I don't think that this is true.
Alright, can you take your standard Xmaxx and turn it into the Ultimate? Well, with all the aluminum parts that they've added, as you see, here's a list of them. The bearing carriers were not available through Traxxas. Traxxas did a great video on the Ultimate, definitely fun to watch. As you see, the bearing carriers, the diff covers were never sold through Traxxas. Aftermarket companies sold them. But this is all new for Traxxas. So is Traxxas going to get rid of the Xmaxx and using parts off their shelf? Well, the steel gears are now installed into this Ultimate Xmaxx. I think that's a great thing. I like their steel gears. Traxxas video really shows the durability of an Xmaxx. But is the Ultimate different? Definitely different. It does have a lot of parts that are added to it. The durability still there, even with the aluminum parts. I don't think it's that much heavier, but we are going to figure that out because I have an Ultimate coming. I was trying to take my new Xmaxx I just purchased and make it into the Ultimate by buying some of these aluminum parts. But they were never sold before. So it's not like Traxxas went to their inventory, grabbed a bunch of parts, and just threw it at this RC. They built some of these parts specifically for the XRT and the Ultimate Xmaxx. So if you're looking to get these parts, they will be available in the future, but as of right now, they're not available. The only way to get them is to purchase yourself the Traxxas Ultimate Xmaxx. And I think that's why a lot of people are just going to go out there and do that. Having the upgraded steering servo, definitely a plus. Everything they've added to this RC is definitely a plus in my opinion, and that's why I ordered one. And we're going to make some changes. Stay tuned.
So, went out and purchased every optional part that Traxxas offers for the Xmaxx. And let's go through that real quick. So, here's the Xmaxx. Let me stand this up. So if you go to Traxxas website and you click on the Xmaxx, the ready to run, and you scroll down to the bottom, you'll come across, here's all the specs on it, you'll come across this section that says accessories. So here's all the accessories that you can buy for the Xmaxx. These are all the accessories. So you can buy the upgraded servo right here with the spring, the servo saver spring, and the servo arm. Then you have the steering links. Then you have the nuts, but these nuts already come on the Xmaxx. You just have your choice of colors. Then you have these motor mount screws and washers, which I suggest this on everything. I don't know if the Unlimited comes with this, but we'll look into that. Then you have the standard shock bodies in different colors. Then you have the upgraded steering shafts, the GTX shock shafts. Then you have the aluminum caps, which this was a good upgrade for some people in the multiple colors. The multiple color just shock bodies. If you wanted to change the color to your Xmaxx, you can buy just the shock bodies. Then you have the spring retainers, which pretty good upgrade. Then you have the stub axles, which you already have stub axles in aluminum on
your ready to run, but you can buy the multiple colors. And then the differential carrier. That's it. So I was like, well, where is the bell crank? Where is the aluminum bearing carriers? Where is all this stuff? And of course, paddle tires. I don't know if that was there. And then the Bluetooth wire module, telemetry, as you see, charger, batteries. Another way you can look up optional parts is, as you see right here, the gear. It'll give you the 6449X, and then it'll say OPT for the optional parts. And that's done with every component on here. When it comes to optional parts, it'll say OPT. Kind of like on this. It gives you the green, the red, the T, which I can't remember what T was, but then it'll do the 7768A optional. So it tells you which parts came on there as far as the color, and then what part is an optional part, which I think is pretty cool because it's in your breakdown list of the Xmaxx. Another thing you can do is go straight to your parts list. In your parts list, we'll have optional parts listed in here as well. And bearing carriers, there's no aluminum bearing carrier option in the Xmaxx. So, went ahead and picked up, as you see, $52. Here's a green set, and here is a blue set for the Xmaxx, 7764A, and then the 7764G for green. That's available. Here's your steering link, as you see, for Xmaxx. Shock rod ends. $7748X, $50 for these things, and these things are the things I don't recommend because they will snap off. But that was a part that Traxxas offered as optional. And here is your optional servo, 2085X. 2085 is the standard one. The X gives you the optional part, and then it comes with your adjustable rod where the other one is solid, your heavy duty spring, and then the metal gear servo to stick in there. Then you have the light kit. This is also available for the Xmaxx, something that came out. $100 for that, which is not on the Ultimate. And then something that's on the XRT. These things are, you know, $199, on sale for $169. This is a green set. This is the white kit that comes with the heavy duty arms and the drive axles. So the XRT gets this. The Xmaxx does not get this upgrade. The XRT has the heavy duty arms on it, and it's still $1,500. That's why I was saying I think the deal at $1,500, if you buy an XRT, you're getting more with the XRT. You're getting the better battery trays, you're getting the white kit, and the standard white kit comes with the flexible arms. They had to make it flexible, so they are the heavy duty arms when you go to the white kit. The standard Xmaxx, I don't believe it has the upgraded arms, but we'll see because I did order one. One is coming. So when I see all these videos of people talking about this stuff, I was like, how are you going to build one? I can't build one. I tried 9 hobby shops I went to. I went to a Traxxas only hobby store and could not buy the aluminum bearing carriers. So some of these parts just are not available. And they're parts that were built for the new Xmaxx Ultimate. And I think there's a lot more in the Ultimate that we're seeing. So just the little stuff I bought. Now the Max,
they have aluminum barrier carriers for the Max, but they don't have it for the Xmax. These are Max bearing carriers. So the Max had all the aluminum stuff, but the Xmax never got it. Not from Traxxas. And then the aluminum parts for the Xmax, they're machined kind of like hot racing parts, where they're machined on the edge and blue in color. And the Max, as you see, didn't get those, and they weren't labeled TRX from Traxxas. But even with that, you figure the light kit's $100. This is $200. Your, what is this thing? $50 for the links. $50 for the shock caps. So links and shock caps alone are $100, and that doesn't even count the upgraded, you know, steel gears that come in the Xmax Ultimate. And I think that's something that everybody should be aware of, is that they do have the better gears in the Ultimate. You can buy something like Hot Racing, and there's a bunch of companies, aftermarket companies, that make the aluminum bearing carriers, that make all the aluminum parts for, whether it's Vidavon or any of those companies. They've been making the aluminum parts for a while now. They're just not branded Traxxas branding, and that's why I don't feel that Traxxas is getting rid of the Xmax, are going to come out with a new Xmax anytime soon. This was their chance to go ahead and upgrade the Xmax and redesign it. And I just don't see that at this point. Because if they were going to redesign it, discontinue it, and come out with another Xmax, say at the end of 2024 or in July, they just wouldn't have made all these new parts for the Xmax. I truly think they're just upgrading their whole platform, whether it's the 2S line, the 3S line, their 6S line, and their 8S line. They're literally just making changes to the stuff that they have to make them the best that they possibly can be out of the box as they're ready to run. And I truly believe that the Unlimited, now parts will be available for the Unlimited. There's a whole parts list for these aluminum parts now. I think they were released yesterday. But they're not going to be on the market for a while now. And it's not like they were ever on the market. So all these parts you will be able to buy, but in adding it up, it seems like it's going to be around $700–800 to do that, with everything they're giving you for just a $500 increase. I say just a $500 increase, but it is going to be an expensive RC. $1,500 is no joke when you're including tax and everything in there. But remember, the DBXL, I mean, the new gas-powered one that they came out with, the two-stroke one, that's $1,650 for that one. But that is a fifth scale, and it is low-C quality. So I just don't see $1,500 being out of the market, and that's why I went ahead and ordered one. I truly think it's going to be a special RC, just like the XRT. If XRT is your platform, and I think at $1,500, the XRT is probably more of a value than the Xmax. And you still have to buy a roof slider. So, I mean, that, I wish they would have added the roof slider, but that's a $10 part. We'll just add it later. I truly think it's going to be special. But I am going to take this Xmax and I'm going to do all the possible upgrades to this one as well. And when the aluminum parts are available, because certain colors are not available right now, as soon as those parts are in, we're going to take this and turn it into an Ultimate and compare the two prices. Which is cheaper, paying the $1,500 or taking your $999 RC and upgrading it with every part that Traxxas will offer for the Unlimited. So if that's something you want to see, stay tuned for that. We will be having one come to the channel, and My goal is with this one is to put the stock ESC back in this. I am going to change the battery ends, but I'm going to run it with the stock gearing, the upgraded stock gearing, and the factory ESC, because a lot of people are saying you have to have a Max 6 to make this thing work. And I want to compare this versus that, weight versus weight, which one performed better right out of the box. This one being lighter or the one with all the aluminum parts with the belted tires. Will they perform any different? We'll find out. So I just wanted to give my whole take on people that are saying that they would prefer to build an Xmaxx versus buy an Xmaxx Ultimate because they feel that they could do it better or save money. And like I was saying, proprietary for Traxxas' parts, is their aluminum good? Is it going to be good? We know the aluminum shock bodies have done well. Some people are saying I'd go Vidavon or I'd go M2C. I get it. Stick with a brand that you like, but you are gonna, I think, if you take an Xmaxx and you are gonna upgrade it, if you're considering buying a new Xmaxx like I did, I just replaced this one. This one's brand new. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're gonna upgrade it, you are gonna spend more than $1,500. No doubt in my mind. Especially, you know, everybody's saying that they're going to, you know, upgrade the ESC. I wish there was more power in it. That's why I always put a Max 6. Here's the other Max 6 I have. I might put this in the new Ultimate. But for now, what I'm going to end up doing is taking this stock ESC. I'm going to change out the battery ends because I don't use Traxxas' battery ends. But take this ESC, stick it back in here, and like I said before, an ESC upgrade is preference. If you look at the XRT gearing, the 2050 gearing that comes stock in that, if you threw 2050 gearing into this, you would have a lot more wheel speed, guaranteed. Or even if you, like I suggest, you can put a 46 that comes with this and then run the 18 tooth factory pinion, and when you change the spur, if you go 46 in an aftermarket steel gear or even the Traxxas steel gear, 46-18, you have the same wheel speed as the 2050 wheel speed that was in the XRT, and this ESC can handle that. So I think it's preference. You definitely will spend more. But if you already have the platform, you might wait till those parts come out. And like Traxxas says, it's $1,000 in upgrades is what they have into it. And I truly, after, you know, shopping around and buying the upgrades that I did buy, spending $600 on that, and I received nothing for it. But the wide kit was almost 200 bucks. The lights were 100 bucks. The steering links were, you know, $50. I mean, all this little stuff adds up. You know, one diff, $54, and this is just the stock diff. And then the upgraded X servo, you know, 90, 100 bucks for this, but it does give you the spring and the link. So that will be going in here. This is a good upgrade, and that's already in that model. That's $100 right there. So with the belted tires and everything else that's in that RC, if you add up all them parts, you just cannot build an Xmaxx that the Ultimate right out of the box is going to be upgraded way better than this, and I feel will be stronger. Do you need the strength? That's all up to you. That depends on your bashing. I know the way that I bash this RC now versus the way I bashed my two other Xmaxes, it all depends on your style. If you want to send it 50 feet in the air, I don't think You know, things are just going to break. Bulkheads are going to break. Certain things are going to break. What you try to avoid is the wheels snapping off. And these factory Xmaxes, the front C-hubs are a weak link. So to get the metal C-hubs with the metal bearing carriers with the bigger bearings in it, and yes, this one does already have bigger bearings in it. And that's why I bought this one. And I haven't had problems with the bearings or bearing carriers or any of that stuff. This Xmax for $1,000 is definitely strong enough. Can it be better? Yes, it can be a $1,500 Ultimate Xmax. It's kind of like the Slash line. It's something Traxxas does. It's kind of like Arma doing the EXB line. There's throwing metal at something, if the metal's in the right spot, will add a lot to it. I know the Cush drive cover, I put one on my Xmax that was hot racing. The belt crank support in the front, I did a hot racing belt crank support. Front and rear diff covers, I did hot racing front and rear diff covers in the metal. And the reason I did that is because I snapped a front one. I ran into a rock and I broke it. I nosedived it and broke it. So there are certain things that I did to my original Xmax over time. And same thing with that one. I put aluminum on both my Xmaxes. I put front aluminum bearing carriers. They were aftermarket eBay ones to get rid of that C-hub because I was snapping the C-hub constantly. That was causing other damage and causing me to end my day. So I think all those upgrades that Arma did are great. The quality aluminum that they did, it's going to be Traxxas quality. Traxxas makes quality parts. They just do. And I think if you went with the XRT gearing, and that's why I keep saying I think the XRT was a better deal in the limited or ultimate, as they're calling it. I think you get a lot more. These battery trays flipping this way that still are not pinned, I like them flipping like the XRT. They pop in and they slide out. So when you're landing on the side, this door is not popping out. The way I've stopped that is I take my batteries and I wrap them in microfibers. And when I close this, they're not popping out. It has to be a pretty hard crash for that battery to pop out. So the motors in the Xmaxes have always been enough. You know, 1200, 1250 kV, I think is what it was. Or 1750 kV. I'll put a picture of it. The KVs in the motor, they're not getting hot, and they work good with a Max 6. I just don't feel it's something that needs to be upgraded. Honestly, on this truck, it could be all stock. So I am going to put the factory ESC back in here temporarily so that I can do a comparison. Stock $1,000 versus, the Traxxas Ultimate. Do a comparison side by side. So I want to clean this up today. That's what I'm going to spend the day doing, getting this thing cleaned up. And hopefully we'll see the Ultimate showing up here very shortly. But like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to know your thoughts. Did you know that Traxxas didn't make all these aluminum parts? Did anybody believe half of these videos saying Traxxas took a bunch of stuff they had laying around and just threw it on an RC car? Because that's not what I'm seeing. They had to make these parts for this Ultimate build. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next video. And will the aluminum parts be strong enough? Or is it going to be weak pop metal? I don't know. Comment down below. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll catch you on the next video.